Welcome, everyone. Today we are going to go over the Guide to Microgrants. This presentation will cover each stage of the microgrant process, the guidelines on allowable expenses, and how to submit your receipts. The microgrant process involves several clear steps. The first step is to attend an introductory webinar, which you're doing now. After the webinar, you will need to sign an attestation agreeing to follow program guidelines and submit a detailed budget by deadline 1. Our team will review your budget to ensure that it meets the guidelines. Once your budget is approved, we will send you the first half of your grant funding. To receive your funds, you need to register with Candex, our secure payment system. After registering, you can accept and receive the first half of your microgrant funding. This process can take up to 10 business days. As you spend from the first half, keep all itemized receipts. You'll submit these by deadline 2. Once submitted, we will review these receipts to verify that your spending aligns with your approved budget and the program rules. After the initial receipts are reviewed, we will send you the second half of your funding. You will then accept and receive the remaining half of your grant funding. As with the first round, itemized receipts must be submitted for the second half of funding. These receipts are due by deadline 3. Finally, we will conduct a review of all of the remaining receipts to ensure compliance and conclude the microgrant process. Deadlines will be discussed at the end of this video. Please keep in mind, failure to meet these deadlines will forfeit the remainder of your funding. One essential rule to remember: these microgrants come from public funding, university funds, nonprofits, and donors. Everyone must use these funds responsibly. Our goal is to support you in achieving meaningful progress on your projects, so go ahead and get creative, but remember to keep it reasonable. Your budget should account for the entire microgrant amount and must be submitted in an Excel format. Here is an example of how your budget should be structured. Please note that you will only be allowed to purchase items listed on your budget, so take the time to plan and submit it carefully. Keep in mind that at least 50% of the grant must be used for customer discovery activities, while up to 50% can go toward prototyping when creating your budget. This is a list of some common approved uses for microgrant funds. This list is not exhaustive. Please take a moment to look over this list. This slide shows a list of expenses that would not be approved. Please take a moment to look over this list. If you have questions about specific uses, you will have a chance to ask about them at the end of this webinar. Also, you are welcome to email me at any time with questions. My email is listed at the end of this PowerPoint. Once your budget is approved and I process your payment, you will receive an email from Vanderbilt University via Candex within about 5 business days. Within the email, you must click here to get paid and input all requested information. You'll input a W-9 form as an individual and your banking information. Finally, submitting itemized receipts is crucial. Receipts must clearly show what was purchased to ensure compliance. On the left, you see an unacceptable receipt, and on the right, you see an acceptable receipt. You must submit your receipts using the Airtable link that will be sent to you. Emailing your receipts to me will not be accepted. This slide addresses some common questions. Please remember that only program participants are eligible to use the travel funds or make purchases. If an event on your budget is canceled or if you need to make changes to your original budget due to an emergency, you must submit a revised budget for approval before spending any funds. Be sure to plan carefully and follow these guidelines to avoid any delays or issues with your microgrant. I will now open it up for questions, and this is my email, olivia.darty@vanderbilt.edu.